everyone, by the way, I am Roxanne A. Dum-ogan and I am 21 years old. I'm lived in Iba, Cabanglasan, Bukidnon. So, in this video, we will discuss about the glass and glass fracture. So, first, what is glass? Glass is an amorphous solid. The term is usually applied to inorganic solids and not to plastic or other organics. Glasses do not have crystalline eternal structure. So, here are the properties of glasses. Number 1. Glass is somewhat flexible. It tends to bend upon application of force. Number 2. Glass bends on the direction where force is applied, causing the opposite side to stretch. Number 3. Glass can withstand more bending rather than stretching, causing the opposite side to start breaking. So, what is glass fractures? So, glass fractures may be caused excessive exposure to heat or caused by impact of a blunt instrument of object or caused by projectile. So next is types of glass fracture. Number 1. Radial fracture. Radical cracks are fractures extending outward from the point of impact. Rim is an imperfection, non-homogeneous layers of flat glass. Number 2. Concentric fractures. Concentric cracks are fractures forming in approximately circular pattern around the point of impact. So, number 3. Conchoidal fracture is a smoothly curving fracture of line-grained materials which have no planar surfaces of internal weakness or planes of separation. So, fractures caused by blunt or instrument. Thorough examination of glass fractures caused by the impact of a blunt object instrument will reveal a pattern of radial and concentric fractures. So, fractures caused by projectiles. A small dense object as a bullet, pebble, or steel ball may impact upon a pane of glass with such a little force or at such a high speed that there is no bulging of the glass. So, the significance of determining the types of glass fractures. Number 1. Point of impact. Glass is at its maximum strength under compression but weak in tension. An impact on a pane of glass causes it to bulge. Number 2. Direction of impact. The impact of the bullet hitting inside will break away a crater on the opposite side of the glass. So, factors to be determined in glass fracture. So, letter A, point of impact. Next is the position of the shooter. Number 1, perpendicular shoot. So, exhibits an even distribution of chipping on the exit side of the glass. Number 2, angle from the right, heavy plaking or chipping on the left side of the glass. Number 3, angle from the left. So, heavy flaking on the right side of the glass. So, letter C, age of fracture. So, number 1, fresh fractures. Exhibit a regular pattern of radial concentric fractures. Old fractures. Number 2, old fractures. Presence of a short extension lines at the end of the radial fractures. So, what is here? Here is a protein filament that grows from follicles found in the dermis. Here is one of the defining characteristics of mammals. The human body, apart from ears of glabrous skin, is covered in follicles which produce the terminal and vine vellus hair. What can be determined from the human hair? Hair analysis is used to provide DNA evidence for criminal and paternity cases. For DNA testing, the root one hair is needed to analyze DNA and establish a person's genetic makeup. So next is the structural parts of the hair. Here, number 1, hair shaft is consisted of 3 layers, such as cuticle, cortex, and in certain cases, medulla. Number 2, flat and square. Shape cuticle cells are adhered tightly to the cortex cells proximally. Number 3, hair shaft pigmentation. Dark hair predominant. Hair shaft diameter and length vellus of 0.6 meter. The hair bulb. Each of the hair grows from its own individual follicles. The hair bulb is situated at the base of each hair follicle and contains young growing hair cells. These continually divide and push upwards, gradually hardening. So next is the inner aspect. So number 1, cuticle. The cuticle is your hair protective layer composed of overlapping cells like fish scales or root tiles but facing downward. A healthy cuticle is smooth and flat. This gives your hair shine and protects the inner layer from damage. Letter B, the outer aspect. So number 1, tip. Distal end portion of the ear. Number 2, shaft. The shaft, the part of a hair that you see, is made of cells that aren't living anymore. Each hair shaft is made up if 2 or 3 layers: the cuticle, the cortex, and sometimes the medulla. So the cuticle is the outermost layer. So number 3, root. Root is the portion that is embedded in the skin. So, what is the main purpose for examining a hair found in the crime scene? So, hair samples are one of the most important resources in the forensic analysis of crime scene, often providing valuable information that can help to lead to the identification if suspect or victim. So, what can you tell from hair analysis? Your hair absorbs chemical from the medications you take, the foods you eat, and environmental toxins. And this information stays in the hair shaft for several months. Hair analysis can reveal drug use habits, genetic diseases, heavy metal poisoning, and conditions. So, next is what is the purpose of hair examination? Number 1, to determine whether the hair is questioned, originated from an animal or human being, and comparison of questioned and known hair. Number 2, to ascertain whether 2 or more individuals could have come in contact or whether one more individuals could have in contact with an object. Next is what is ultraviolet examination. So this examination technique is based the fact that certain materials fluoresce because they absorb the wavelength of ultraviolet light, which causes an electronic transition in some of the molecule of the material. What is the purpose of ultraviolet examination? So, ultraviolet or UV light allows investigators and forensic researchers to examine, close, and recover evidence that could not have been previously detected. So, next is what is ultraviolet light examination? So, the examination of an object with ultraviolet radiation 500 nanometers emitted by a wood's lamp in the dark makes it opposite to distinguish adhesions, repented areas, and vanished layers due to the different fluorescent and reflection of the materials. Next is fiber. So what is fiber? Fiber analysis is a method of identifying and examining fibers used by law enforcement agencies around the world to procure evidence during an investigation. Fiber analysis is also used by law enforcement agencies to place suspects and the same if the crime. So, how are fibers used in forensic science? So, as discussed previously, fibers are considered a form of trace evidence that can be transferred from the clothing of a suspect to the clothing of a victim during the commission of crime. So, next is how are fibers used to solve crimes? So, by matching fibers at the crime scene of a crime to items belonging to a suspect, investigators are able to place individuals at a crime scene. So, what are the three types of fibers forensic? So, first is the fibers come in three different types, such as natural fibers, which come from plants, and animal manufactured fibers, which are formed and natural materials that are created from natural materials, and synthetic fibers, which are from completely man-made materials. So that's all. Thank you and God bless.